So Meadow Lane is an example of class fishing. Now, I made up that term, but the idea of taste and class being connected is something that you see in theory. So Immanuel Kant, for example, thought that aesthetics was socially decided. So there's no inherent beauty in a thing. It's that in your individual socialization, you see that as beautiful. And then there was a scholar named Baudrillard who said, you know what? It's not about your individual taste. It's in fact about social class. And so social class is the biggest determinant on what you think is attractive. And it to him was about, in his book he talked about distinction, and I think that's a great title because distinction is you have a mark of distinction, you're better than someone else, but it's also that you see something distinctly different than someone else. And that is really sort of at essence how they built up Meadow Lane. And so the art collection at Meadow Lane was designed by a woman named Sophia Cohen. She just happens to be the daughter of a billionaire who owns the Mets and has like millions and millions and millions of dollars of art. She did go to Brown and studied art, and then she went to work at Gagosian. And so she basically went from being someone who grew up with a lot of expensive art, then went to the right school. I mean, she didn't go to Williams, but she went to Brown art history. And then she goes and works, probably through family connections, at one of the big galleries, i.e., she has spent her life with people who have an upper class sense of art and taste. So then she goes there, she makes friends with artists, she actually marries the son of an artist. He also has a dad who has like a wild, has like orgies and cocaine parties and all kinds of stuff. He's Australian, maybe it's cultural. And then she basically creates this art advisory. So she creates this art advisory, and this is the class fishing part. So an art advisory is basically where you tell wealthy people what to buy, and you're basically saying to them, this is the thing you want, and this will increase in value. But then what they do is ensure that it increases in value by making friends with the right museum, the right spaces, so it's seen, so more and more people buy it. It's a little bit like an art pyramid scheme. And this is, to go to the beginning of this video, the point. So they put in art like this artwork that is a lot of Cheerios. And it is a purposeful point because your kid could have made it. Like literally your kid could have made it. But this one is art, whereas your kid's was like a preschool project you eventually secretly threw away, right? Like you didn't keep it because you get so many projects. Oh, that's just me? And so what happens is they're saying to you in this installation, we understand this because we're a different class and we need you to shop here so we can remain this class. But here is the part. They're not saying we're putting in things we know you'll like. We're putting in things instead we know you will understand are expensive and you don't get. They could have easily put in something, say, realism at the front door. But they didn't for a reason. They picked a thing that would be a little bit surprising, a little bit like, oh, they're so cool. Look at how they pick these interesting things so that they maintain their class and their sense of taste. So what does this mean for you? Well, one, I think it highlights how Meadow Lane and things like that are really just ways for wealthy people to make more wealth. Two, this idea that some people get art and some people don't is very much socially constructed, and you don't have to buy into that. And three, just because a rich woman whose dad is a billionaire likes it doesn't make it good. On this channel, I often will tell you about contemporary art that I think is really interesting. I tell you why. But I am not saying, and then you should buy that. Right? I don't do that. I'm not looking to increase anybody's art value. I just want you to enjoy art, to get to the point where you enjoy art. And so, in essence, you should watch a video of Meadow Lane or see any of the artworks that are in there and be okay with being like, that is still terrible. I don't like it. I will say, I haven't seen that work that I'm mentioning in person, and that's the final thing I'll say to you. the biggest thing you should get out of this is you should continue to look at contemporary art. You should not have people like her decide for you what is good. You should decide for yourself.